Hey, everybody. I don't know why everything's kind of stilted tonight, but we're back with another unboxing, and I'm pretty sure I know which one this is. It's another Age of the Primes figure. And this is another one of the Primes themselves. Now, I already have a version of this character, and I was hesitant to get a new one, but eventually I was like, it's different enough. I might as well, and it comes with accessories that the other one didn't have. So what the heck? I don't like to do that too often because sometimes having multiple versions of a single character without really having a place for them is a bit much. But I think this will be fine because I'll have different, like a comic version and a G1 version, and etc. I don't need to be a completionist. I don't need to have every single version of a single character, right? I don't have to have every single version of Optimus Prime that's ever been out there. I have a lot of Optimus Primes. It kind of comes with the territory. But I don't need to have every single possible variation. Same thing with Megatron. Same thing with some of the other figures. Now, Shockwave's a different story because that's my favorite character. There's been a couple of Shockwaves that have not been great. I've skipped those on purpose. Favorite character or no. If the figure looks kind of like, don't really like it, I'm going to skip it. Right? So, let's take a look without all the rambling. I got my trusty box cutter. I got the box here. Let's cut the tape. Let's cut the tape. Of course, I've got this what my daughter calls the dragon scale corrugated cardboard. So here we have the Age of the Primes Alpha Trion. Now, I only have one other Alpha Trion, and it is from the G1. I don't remember what it was called. I think it was the G1 Origins 2-pack, where it had Alpha Trion. It was one of the War Dawn packs, because there was a couple of them, but this one had Alpha Trion based off the Scourge mold from the War for Cybertron Scourge, which was a good mold. And it had a Orion packs based off of the Studio 86 Cup mold, where the arms and the legs could come off and things. They did 3 characters in that mold, other than just Cup. They did Cup in 2 versions, which is only slight variations between the 2, and then they did Orion packs and they did Dion. I've seen a fan theory that Dion becomes Ultra Magnus, which is super interesting. But in the episode, it's destroyed. So, anyway, that's the only other Alpha Trion I have. I have that one, and now I have this one. So let's get him out of the package and see how it feels. My most recent figure, other than him, was, of course, Onyx Prime, which in my headcanon is a version of Shockwave from the IDW comic run for Dark Cybertron, because Shockwave went back in time through a singularity, murdered the original Onyx Prime, and became him. And that's why he's with my Shockwaves. A couple of my Shockwaves. I have another one over there, and I have more up there. I have several Shockwaves. I have a machine. Anyway, we've got Alpha Trion out here. Got his instructions. Now, this one comes with the Covenant of Primus, which is a book of all the history of the Transformers. Now, this is kind of cool because it actually has pages that open and there's writing on some of them, and there's schematics. This one has that on it, so it's an actual book, so that's kind of cool. During the run of Transformers Prime, they put out a book that was supposed to be the Covenant of Primus that covered a bunch of historical things and various lore of the Transformers as of that continuity. And I have that, and it's pretty cool. I disagree with some of the things based off the original G1 versus that, but it's just they introduced a while back a multiversal Transformers set of universes. There's multiple universes, there's different timelines and things. You can kind of have your own headcanon, like I do. So that's fine. But he comes with a copy of the book, which is pretty cool. Let's get him out. His some of his features look kind of familiar as far as this mold. So I'm wondering the blade is getting a little dull here. I'm wondering what his mold is based off of. Now, seeing him in person, I am not a big fan of the head sculpt. I don't much care for it. Let's pull it up and I can show it to you. I'm trying to open up his fingers here because he's got opening and closing fists. I'm not as keen on the head sculpt versus the one from the previous 2-pack. I understand this is supposed to be a younger version, so I get that it's going to look a little bit different, but I'm not a big fan of it. I don't know. I don't really care for it. It's weird from the side, like it's weirdly flat. Like, I don't know, but the rest of the figure is super tight. Like, these joints are nice and tight. He's not going to fall down anytime soon. His legs don't seem quite long enough. All right, I don't know if anybody else is getting the impression of that, but handling the figure, his arms seem awfully long. They go all the way down to his knees. So I feel like maybe perhaps the proportions are the way. And the head looks really tiny the more I look at it in comparison to the body. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. He has a little accessory here, which looks like some kind of a shield, perhaps. It's initially snapped together like this, and it has a little plug, so it plugs into something, and you can move that back, probably on his arm. Get off that table. Cats. And you can open it up. No, and it comes apart, obviously. The hinges are not perfect. But it opens up probably for his transformation. I assume this will go on his arm. Some kind of a shield unit. Kind of like that, right? That's what I'm assuming. I'll have to look at the instructions to find out for sure. He's got another little accessory packet inside here in the tissue paper. Let's see what's in there. Wrapped up real good. I don't know what these are supposed to be. He has what's supposed to be the quill for the Covenant of Primus for him to write in it. And then it has these two little nubs that obviously plug into something. Do they plug into... Well, they're not supposed to plug into the quill, looks like. Do they go in his... Of course, my fingers are messed up here. What do they go to? Now that's interesting. I'm gonna have to look at the instructions for this because I don't quite understand what these are. Let's take a look in the instructions. They apparently go in his... Okay, they go in his shoulder pads. You see that? He's got a little spot there. And they're like just little studs that hang out on his shoulders. It's just interesting. If I can drop the other one. I don't see why they couldn't have been built into the figure. I don't know. That seems kind of weird to me. But whichever. And this is supposed to go... Really? All right. That's weird. This is supposed to plug in as a butt skirt. But it doesn't quite... Doesn't seem to be correct because he's got a big tab on his back end here. Huh. The instructions say to plug that into that hole there, the top one here. But it doesn't seem, because there's a tab there, it doesn't line up. And there's no place to put that. Okay, wait a second. Okay. So it doesn't really... So it folds up like that, real awkwardly. And this little bar there plugs into the line there. And that's kind of, I don't know. It's not the best figure in the world, to be honest. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling grouchy that I got it. Like, I don't feel like it was necessary to get this after the fact. I don't know. Maybe I'll end up putting them on eBay. I do that sometimes, not often, but every once in a while, I put things on eBay because they don't they don't work out. That into there. Kind of, but not very well. Kind of plugs into his arm, the book does. Where's the quill? The quill's got to be somewhere. I must have dropped it. There it is. Okay. So he's got spot, this thick part in the middle is how he holds onto the quill. Let me adjust the book here a little bit. He doesn't have a wrist swivel, which I feel like would be important. This kind of mechanic. So he can kind of write in it, but it's really kind of, I don't know. He's mostly just poking himself in the face with that. It seems like there would be a lot of cool features to this figure, and things just don't work out the way that you would expect. Am I going to keep him? I don't know. I might. He's kind of non-functional on some of this stuff. It's not exactly what I expected. I mean, the articulation is fine. He doesn't exactly, he's not quite capable of writing in the book because he doesn't have a wrist swivel, which I feel like he would need to. And the head sculpt is weird. No. I don't know. I'm conflicted about this figure, to be honest, about this Alpha Trio. What do you think? Do you have one of these? Do you like it? Are you going to keep it? Are you skipping it? What are you doing about the Age of the Primes? I'm kind of undecided, and I'll see what happens. Anyway, thank you for watching. Comment. Let me know what you think about all this, and I'll see you next time.